seen actually the whole of Barakashi up in arms against Professor Lovemore Madhuku, displaying his pictures that they are men who are following him, taking videos of him. Now we know also, according to the military intelligence report that has been released, that the Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa regime has actually identified Professor Lovemore Madhuku as enemy number one because of choosing to side with the war veterans, because of picking the case of war veterans. If you remember, according to the expose that we did to this channel, it was unveiled that Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa faction, through the advice of Professor Jonathan Moyo, they were hoping to use Professor Lovemore Madhuku to represent them at the Constitutional Court. And Professor Lovemore Madhuku has been one of the individuals who have taken a stand against the mutilation of the Constitution, bastardizing it and speaking out, without ambiguity, that it would not see the light of the day, no matter what the regime of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa may try to do. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Tonipani Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So there are also new death threats against Professor Lovemore Madhuku. In fact, the situation has escalated after graffiti threatening him with death was sprayed at the National Constitutional Assembly offices along Heped Chitebo Avenue, Harare. The messages are believed to be linked to his strong criticism of Constitutional Amendment number 3. The incident comes after Professor Madhuku was recently attacked and left for dead by unidentified individuals who were reportedly accompanied by police officers, but these individuals were later on identified. Now, if you read also the intelligence report, keep on referring to, I've seen Barakash's, the whole machinery of ZANU-PF standing up to actually discredit this intelligence report. And I must undertake that, if you see an intelligence report being discredited by ZANU-PF or anything being discredited, especially by the machinery of ZANU-PF, understand that that thing is the truth. So there is absolutely nothing but the truth. So we've heard from the intelligence report that the Gudawashe Takire anchored by his elusive close ally, that is Julius Mapingura, also known as Shumba Mpostori, and advised by fugitive Professor Jonathan Moyo, has over the past 24 months been working on their strategy to bypass the succession matrix and grab political power from themselves, from the ailing and soon to complete his 2 terms limit, Mnangagwa. Jonathan Moyo has intensely been studying the mistakes he made in his initial quest to grab the presidency away from Emerson Mnangagwa for his chosen faction. Chief Wadi has been applying the lessons learned. So we've had this actually plot that is done by Professor Jonathan Moyo. So the offices of Professor Lovemore Madhuku, after going after him, remember, it is said they beat him and they left him for the dead. When they beat him, they wanted to actually kill him, the regime of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. Why did they want to kill him? It's simple. Why they wanted actually to kill him. They wanted to kill him because he has chosen to be on the other side he has chosen to actually side with the faction the other faction which is opposed to the 2030 term extension of Emerson Mnangagwa. So they are continuing to threaten Professor Lovemore Madhuku, and I must say his life continues beyond a reasonable doubt, in danger by Emerson Mnangagwa. It shows that these people will not stop actually to try and hunt down Professor Lovemore Madhuku. They know that he is one of the best in terms of lawyers in Zimbabwe, and he is going to lay the ZANU-PF mischief bare, especially at the Constitutional Court. He is going to give them the hardest time. Is one of the greatest lawyers in Zimbabwe, and if one of the greatest lawyers in Zimbabwe have said what Mnangagwa intends to do will not see the light of the day, that's a strong voice that is draining the Emerson Mnangagwa regime. So they are planning to actually eliminate him, and they are actually making it quite public. They have been today, Barakash's revealed pictures of Professor Lovemore Madhuku that were taken without his knowledge. They were just taking him, I don't know whether he was going to work. They were taking his pictures without his knowledge, and they were parading these pictures all over. In fact, X, formerly Twitter, there are pictures of Professor, videos, in fact, Barakash's. And you could see that these videos were taken without his knowledge. And this can only, they have been in fact up in arms, challenging the intelligence report that was released, that I have actually extensively covered, regarding how Mnangagwa has identified and in fact wants to kill Professor Lovemore Madhuku. That intelligence report made it clear that they say that, let me just read this section. They say the assessment confirms a critical escalation in the threat matrix facing the Republic of Zimbabwe. Businessman Mnangagwa Takwire, operating a cartel anchored by his elusive close ally Julius Mapingura, aka Shumba Mpostori, and advised by fugitive Professor Jonathan Moyo, has initiated phase 2 of their constitutional coup following the serious threat of a legal collapse of phase 1. Seeing the prospects to grab power, the presidency via the proposed constitutional amendment number 3, supposedly being done for President Mnangagwa, but in reality for themselves, dwindling and facing a crushing defeat for themselves from the war veterans legal challenge being led by Professor Lovemore Madhuku. The cartel has now deployed a rogue, privatized militia to neutralize any opposition to the proposed amendment number 3. They have now specifically targeted the legal team led by Professor Lovemore Madhuku, representing the war veterans, and his organization, the National Constitutional Assembly. So it's quite clear from this intelligence report that Professor Lovemore Madhuku has been actually targeted by Mnangagwa, Takwire, Julius Mapingura, and they are getting these advices. Guess from whom? They are getting these advices from none other than Professor Jonathan Moyo. That is where they are actually getting these advices. Professor Lovemore Madhuku, the constitutional lawyer representing the war veterans, became enemy number 1, according to the intelligence report, following the 16 February filing. On Sunday, 1 March 2026, the Tinzwa Maunganidze militia was unleashed against him, and his members were violently beaten up in full glare of the Zimbabwe Republic Police and are now hospitalized. The cartel has abandoned institutional capture in favor of extrajudiciary violence as well as terror. Now, it's clear from the intelligence report, and today they have actually went and put red X to the offices of Professor Lovemore Madhuku. You know what is the meaning of X? We want to cancel you. In fact, some of the captions, they are written Unofa. Let me just read some of the captions that were actually captured, especially by this outlet. It's an X that is actually put in his office. That's the red X, as you can see. And also, they wrote something, Unofa Madhuku. That's what they wrote on his offices. Using a red ink, is it a red paint, written Unofa Madhuku. That is what is done by the regime. We will be following this actually story with keen interest, and I hope wherever Professor Lovemore Madhuku is, and extra care would be taken against him. It appears these killers, they are really after him. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars. Is signing out. Let me love and leave you. Let's meet on the other side.